Allow me to give you a rather symbolic story this time around. Left-wing theatre managers who invited 200 migrants to a free show will abandon the building and face bankruptcy as refugees still refuse to leave after 3 months and spark a wave of sexual-related violence. And this is just in a single building. Imagine what that type of thing does to entire countries. But anyway, left wing managers of a Paris theatre, occupied by hundreds of homeless African migrants, are set to abandon the building because of sex related violence. They say the crisis at the Gaîté Lyrique, no idea, one of the French capital's most historic arts venues, is now so explosive that retreat by this Friday is their only option. Some 200, mainly young men, how about that, moved in last December when the management gave them free tickets to a Refugees Welcome in France conference. So they invited them there out of the goodness of their hearts to say, don't worry, refugees are welcome here, but then they wouldn't leave. They stayed. They've destroyed the place. There's been lots of sexual assaults and stuff like that. How about that? But anyway, when the conference was finished, the migrants, who mostly come from France's former West African colonies, refused to leave the venue. Performances were soon cancelled, losing the theatre thousands in revenue, as makeshift beds were placed around the stage and auditorium. There are now 446 people living inside illegally, most of them claiming they are minors under the age of 18 who deserve permanent housing. Well, obviously, they need that building more than you do. You, rich capitalist, owning property. You can't own property, man. You can't own the building. Those migrants are poor and they deserve it more than you. So why don't you just shut up and believe in your mantra of refugees are welcome here? That's theirs now. It's their building now. Filthy capitalist, thinking you can own property. But local officials have insisted that they are adults and that most are known to the authorities and had been sleeping on the streets before entering the theatre. The Collectif des Jeunes de Part de Belleville, fucking French, the group which organised the occupation, slammed the age test as racist and expeditive. That's, oh my god. It's like they literally just came in and took over a whole bloody building. Is that the theatre there? That's a very nice building. That's an extremely nice building. Bloody rich people. Oh my god, look at this. They're all hoods up, masked up. Oh my god. It is a very nice theatre. It's lovely. That's a shame. This has led to untenable promiscuity, leading to increasing violence, say management, who are facing bankruptcy. Is that what we're calling rape? I just call rape. Untenable promiscuity. I'm going to call it that. No, Your Honour. It was merely untenable promiscuity. Shut up. A statement released by them on Thursday reads, without intervention by the authorities by Friday, the Gaîté Lyrique company and its teams will be forced to leave the building. It says they will suspend the execution of contracts of service providers in charge of fire safety, security, hygiene and cleanliness, maintenance and waste collection. Management warn of an explosive and undignified situation that is increasing in severity. Beyond fights breaking out because of sexual tensions, migrants have been seen dealing and using drugs. Staff have been acting as on-site security guards, even though this is neither their skill set nor their job, says the statement. I'm amazed they haven't quit. Despite this, the statement says staff have also been welcoming and sheltering the occupants. Well, there's your job gone. Your company has to pull out now, so there goes your job. You are advocating for your own destruction. There's so much poetry in this scenario. So much poetry, so much messaging, so much symbolism. Is anybody else noticing it? I've been noticing a lot lately. In December, Paris' socialist-led council, how about that, which owns the building, question answered, claims it looked for accommodation for the migrants, but that none was available. It called for the government to deal with the problems. Yeah, we hit the government. Fuck the government. Refugees welcome here. They won't leave the building. Government, please. Government, please help. Please come and help. And the government's doing nothing. Again, there's so much poetry in this. But President Emmanuel Macron's centrist cabinet is said to have ignored the request and is reluctant to get involved in the debacle. The theatre is owned by the city of Paris, which is dominated by socialists and Greens. How about that? A judge at the Paris Administrative Council ordered the evacuation of the building on February 13th, but the council has refused to involve the police. How about that? The migrants are being supported by political activists, even more left-wing than the theatre's management. A new player has entered the game, calling themselves the collective bloody French hon baguette bullshit after a Parisian park. They view the occupation as being part of the anti-racist and anti-colonial struggle. By anti-colonialism, by basically coming over here and seizing property that's not yours. Yeah, well done, you fucking morons. Local businesses have complained of losses due to the occupation. The bistro next to the 19th century venue, a popular spot for theatre goers to eat and drink before and after shows, has reported €30,000 in lost revenue so far. They are ruining my business, the manager Elia, herself the daughter of Algerian migrants, told The Times in December. They hang around outside my terrace, smoking joints and fighting among themselves. Not only do we no longer get theatre goers because the theatre is shut, but we don't get passers-by either. They are being frightened away by all these young men. The 1,800-seat building that houses the current Gate Lyrique was built in 1862 and became celebrated for staging operettas by Jacques Offenbach, the German-born French composer in the 19th century. On November the 1st, France reinforced its borders with 6 of its neighbouring Schengen members, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Spain and Switzerland, with increased checks. Too little, too late, I'm afraid. The controls were applied to travellers entering Paris via land, sea and air routes from all 6 nations and will last until April 1st, 2025. But authorities have said they could be extended further. A French government statement declared the checks were introduced due to serious threats to public policy, public order and internal security posed by high-level terrorist activities. Criminal networks facilitating irregular migration and smuggling, and migration flows that risk infiltration by radicalised individuals. So in other words, all of the issues that we were telling you from the very start. Now, you're doing it now after a bunch of people had to die. After a bunch of young women had to get raped. You're doing it now. Too little, too late. They're here. And they're not going to change. They're not going to change. They came over here and took over a very culturally important theatre, and the government is literally too scared to do anything about it. I guarantee you, I don't even need to see inside the building. I know it's destroyed. I know it's absolutely ruined. A very, very culturally important building in Paris, which was once a beautiful city, which was once considered one of the prettiest cities in the world. It's now a giant shit pile. Like, Paris is fucked up. And the government's like, oh, we don't want to be racist, blah, blah, blah. You're fucking idiots. But still, the symbolism in this story is something that everyone should be paying very close attention to.